Are you tired of hearing the same tired advice about finding your passion? The endless motivational speeches, the pressure to find your purpose, as if it's something you can just discover on a whim. Here's the truth. Passion isn't some magical thing that suddenly falls into your lap. It's not about chasing after some perfect dream or waiting for a sign from the universe. In fact, pragmatism, a philosophy grounded in real, actionable outcomes, might just be the key you've been missing. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't pragmatism about being boring and practical? Well, I'm about to flip that idea on its head. Because what if I told you that finding your passion isn't a matter of inspiration, but of action? What if the secret to unlocking it is rooted in doing, experimenting, and being okay with the journey instead of some grand, life-altering moment? Stick with me here. By the end of this video, you'll see how pragmatism can help you cut through the noise, stop the guessing game, and actually start building a life that feels meaningful. So hit that play button and let's dive in. I promise this will challenge everything you thought you knew. Number 1, embrace fail fast, fail often. You know that feeling when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, and everything just feels like a big blurry mess. Yeah, I get it. It's overwhelming, right? But here's the thing. What if I told you that the key to finding your passion, your true purpose, isn't about getting everything right on the first try? Sounds crazy, right? But trust me on this one. The secret isn't in succeeding immediately. It's in failing over and over again. Now, I know what you're thinking. Failing? Really? Yes, really. We've all been there, chasing that perfect idea, that one thing that we're supposed to be passionate about. But what if the search for passion itself is the problem? I mean, how often do we hear people say, just follow your passion, as if it's some magical path waiting to be discovered? But what if we don't need to find our passion, but rather make our own passion by simply jumping in and trying? Let me break it down for you. What if the key to unlocking your passion is to fail faster? Fail often. I know that sounds like a strange life mantra, but bear with me for a second. Here's the thing. Every time you try something new and it doesn't work out, you learn something. You learn about what doesn't light you up, which is just as important as figuring out what does. In fact, it's often faster and more effective. This process allows you to cut through the noise and get to the heart of what truly excites you. I'll give you an example from my own life. A couple of years ago, I found myself stuck in a job that didn't exactly inspire me. I kept thinking I'd eventually find my passion within the role, but guess what? That never happened. Instead of staying stuck, I started taking on side projects that were completely unrelated to my work. Anything from volunteering at events to dabbling in new hobbies, even things I knew nothing about. And guess what? Some of those side gigs failed miserably. But with each failure, I learned more about what I didn't want to do, and eventually a few things clicked. Those failures led me to a place where I could actually say, this is where my heart is. Here's the beautiful part about embracing failure. It takes the pressure off. There's no longer this desperate need to find your passion. It's not a destination, it's a messy, unpredictable journey. And when you give yourself permission to fail, you also give yourself the freedom to learn, grow, and adapt. It's about taking risks, making mistakes, and showing up again and again, not with the expectation of success, but with the curiosity of discovery. When you stop worrying about being perfect and just start experimenting, you're actually creating a life full of possibility. You're no longer just waiting for inspiration to strike. You're actively chasing it in all the messy ways that come with growth. This is your life, your journey, and you have every right to explore it fully, even if that means falling flat on your face along the way. So go ahead, fail fast, fail often. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to your strength and willingness to grow. Remember, your passion doesn't just appear out of thin air. It's forged in the fire of your experiences, and every failure is just another step towards clarity. Reclaim your space, your peace, and your dignity by taking action, even if it means stumbling. Keep showing up and let failure be the fuel that drives you forward. Because in the end, it's not about the perfect path. It's about the courage to walk your own, no matter where it leads. Number 2, quit chasing passion. What if I told you that chasing your passion is a surefire way to keep feeling stuck? Yeah, you heard me right. We've all heard the advice. Follow your passion. It's plastered everywhere. On social media, in motivational speeches, even in those self-help books that promise you'll find the answers by simply searching for that one big, life-changing thing you're supposed to be passionate about. But what if I told you that it's actually keeping you from the very thing you're looking for? Now, I know this might sound like blasphemy to some of you, but hear me out. We've all been there, staring at a blank page, wondering what the heck we're supposed to be doing with our lives. We try everything to spark that elusive passion. Side projects, hobbies, career changes, you name it. And still, nothing. You know the type. The one who's been on a quest for years, looking for that perfect career, that passion that will make everything feel right. But the more we chase it, the farther it seems to slip away. I get it. It's frustrating. It feels like you're just not doing it right. But here's the twist. You don't have to. Here's the reality. Your passion isn't something that you find. It's something that you create. I know. It sounds a bit like a life hack, but the truth is, passion isn't a mystical destination. It's built through action. You don't sit back and wait for passion to knock on your door. You get up and do stuff. You dive into projects, take risks, fail, learn, and yes, sometimes get a bit uncomfortable. But that's how you start building momentum. The more you do, the more you uncover what lights you up and what doesn't. The key is to stop waiting for it to fall from the sky and just get started. Let me give you a little example from my own life. I used to be that person, endlessly wondering if I was passionate enough about my work or hobbies. I tried so many things: writing, painting, coding, even teaching. Nothing clicked. Then one day I stopped overthinking it and just focused on solving problems that were right in front of me. Anything from helping a friend with a video project to volunteering at a local charity event. And you know what? With each new challenge, I started feeling a spark. Not because I had found my true calling, but because I was actively engaging with the world around me. Passion, it turns out, wasn't something I had to go searching for. It grew out of the work I was already doing. So here's the kicker. Instead of chasing passion, start creating it. Take action, experiment, and don't be afraid to fail. Because when you stop putting so much pressure on finding your passion, you make room for the unexpected. You let curiosity guide you, and in turn, passion shows up when you least expect it. It's about reclaiming your space and dignity, not waiting for some magical moment to define you. You get to define yourself by the things you do, not by some elusive feeling that one day you'll be passionate about. Remember, you don't need to have it all figured out right now. It's not about waiting for your passion to land on your lap. It's about stepping out, getting your hands dirty, and allowing passion to evolve as you do. So stop chasing it and start living in a way that makes it inevitable, because the only way to truly find your passion is by creating it through action. Number 3, commit to non-stop experimentation. What if I told you that the secret to discovering what you truly love is not about waiting for the perfect opportunity, but about diving headfirst into anything and everything? I know, you might be thinking, that sounds risky. What if I fail? And yes, failure is part of the package deal. But hear me out. What if you stopped trying to plan every step of your journey and instead committed to non-stop experimentation? Sounds wild, right? But stick with me, because this could be the game changer you've been waiting for. We've all been there, sitting in front of our computers, feeling paralyzed by indecision. We keep thinking, what if this isn't the right choice? What if I choose the wrong path? We try to play it safe, waiting for that perfect moment when everything aligns, only to end up more confused than ever. You know the type, the one who overthinks every decision and ends up doing nothing. Sound familiar? I get it. But what if the real answer lies in the very opposite of that approach? What if the key is to experiment, fail, and try again, over and over, until something clicks? Here's the thing, non-stop experimentation isn't just about trying new things for the sake of it. It's about creating a feedback loop. Each new project, hobby, or career shift teaches you something valuable, whether it's about what excites you, what drains you, or what you're just plain good at. It's like throwing darts at a dartboard, but the more you throw, the clearer your target becomes. With each experiment, you get closer to understanding what lights you up and what doesn't. And the best part? You can't fail if you're always experimenting. Failure only happens when you stop trying. When you're in a constant state of experimentation, every outcome is a win, because you're always learning. Let me give you a real-life example. A few years ago, I was stuck in a career that felt fine, but not great. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do next, so I decided to experiment. I tried everything, freelancing in different fields, attending random workshops, taking up side projects that had nothing to do with my day job. And guess what? Some projects flopped big time, and others weren't as fulfilling as I hoped. But each one gave me a little nugget of insight. One project taught me I hated long meetings, but I thrived in short, creative bursts. Another taught me that I loved collaborating with like-minded people, not just working solo. Eventually, through all that trial and error, I found something I'm passionate about today, something I'd never have discovered if I'd played it safe or waited for the perfect opportunity. Here's the kicker. Non-stop experimentation is empowering. It takes the pressure off having everything figured out right away. Instead, you're in the driver's seat, learning, growing, and adjusting as you go. It's about creating your own path rather than waiting for one to show up. And when you stop worrying about failure and start embracing the process of discovery, you not only learn what you love, but you also become more resilient and adaptable. This isn't about chasing some idealized dream. It's about taking ownership of your journey and getting your hands dirty along the way. So, if you're feeling stuck, try this on for size. Commit to non-stop experimentation. Get uncomfortable. Try something new today, even if it's small, because the more you do, the clearer your passions will become. And remember, every step you take, whether it's a success or a failure, brings you closer to discovering what truly excites you. This is your life, your exploration. Let go of the fear, embrace the process, and keep experimenting. Your space, your peace, and your dignity come from the courage to try, learn, and evolve. Keep moving forward, and the path will reveal itself. Number 4, outsource your passion, discovery. What if I told you that one of the easiest ways to discover your passion isn't by diving deeper into your own mind, but by outsourcing it? Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Outsource my passion? That sounds strange. But bear with me for a second. You've been told time and time again that you need to look within to find what lights you up. The truth is, sometimes the answers we're looking for are just outside our bubble, waiting for us to ask for help, guidance, or even just a fresh perspective. Yes, trust me on this. Outsourcing your passion discovery might be the key you've been missing. You know the type. the person who's constantly hunting for their passion, reading every book on self-discovery, and endlessly journaling to find the perfect fit. But what often happens, you end up feeling more confused, more stuck. We've all been there, right? The idea of finding your passion can become so overwhelming that you freeze. You might even start thinking you're just not cut out for it. But here's where outsourcing comes in. Instead of carrying the weight of figuring it all out on your own, ask others. Talk to people who inspire you, work with a mentor, or even hire a coach. You'd be surprised at how much clarity you can gain when someone else offers their perspective on what makes you shine. Here's how it works. The people around you, whether it's a trusted friend, a colleague, or even a professional, can often see patterns and strengths in you that you might be blind to. I realized this the hard way. For years, I wondered if I had a passion at all. I kept thinking, I'll find it on my own eventually. But what really shifted things for me was having an honest conversation with a friend who knew me well. She pointed out how excited I got when helping others solve creative problems. She said, "Have you ever considered doing that professionally?" It was like a light bulb went off. I hadn't seen it myself, but she did. That was the moment my passion discovery took a completely different turn. It wasn't about endless searching. It was about listening to others who could mirror back what was already within me. The beauty of outsourcing this discovery process is that it takes the pressure off. It allows you to lean into your natural talents without overthinking everything. It's a way of recognizing that sometimes the best insights come from outside your own head. Your passion is often something that others can point out long before you even realize it. And let's face it, sometimes all we need is permission to see ourselves from a different angle. So instead of trying to force the answer, get some help. Reach out, talk to people, and be open to what they say. This is about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your confidence in your abilities, without feeling like you have to do it all alone. So, the next time you feel stuck or unsure about your passion, consider outsourcing the search. Whether it's asking a mentor for feedback or just having a candid chat with a friend, there's real power in letting others help you discover what makes you tick. You don't have to carry the burden of figuring it all out on your own. The answers are out there, sometimes in the most unexpected places. Your passion might just be waiting for someone else to show you where it lies. Number 5. Hack the just do it mentality. What if I told you that the iconic just do it mentality might actually be holding you back? Yes, I'm serious. It's a phrase that's become so ingrained in our culture, we wear it like a badge of honor. But what if the secret to actually getting things done doesn't come from pushing yourself harder, but from hacking the just do it mentality to work in your favor? Now, I know what you're thinking, but isn't that the key to success? Well, yes and no. Stick with me on this, because I promise you this is about to change your approach to productivity for the better. You know the type, the person who's constantly telling themselves, "I just need to push through, grind harder, and eventually I'll get there." We've all been there, right? You think that if you just keep forcing yourself to do more, you'll reach that magical place where everything clicks. But instead, you end up feeling drained, overwhelmed, and maybe even a little resentful of the very thing you're trying to accomplish. It's like the more you push, the further away your goals seem. And here's the kicker. It's because that mentality is setting you up for burnout, not success. So here's the twist. Hacking the just do it mentality doesn't mean just plowing through. Instead, it means strategically making the act of doing feel easier and more effortless. Let's face it, we all have those moments where we feel paralyzed by the weight of what we need to accomplish. The key isn't to force yourself to get started. It's to break down the task into micro steps that are so small they don't even seem worth procrastinating on. Yes, that's right. Make your goals so simple you can't help but begin. It's like tricking your brain into saying, well, this is easy, I can totally do this. And before you know it, you've crossed off a bunch of tasks without feeling the weight of perfectionism or exhaustion. Let me give you a real example. A while ago, I was struggling with a huge project that seemed impossible. I had this massive list of things to do, and every time I looked at it, I'd get overwhelmed. Then, one day, I stopped and asked myself, what's the smallest step I could take right now? Instead of diving straight into writing the entire script, I told myself I'd only work for 15 minutes, just enough to get started. Those 15 minutes turned into an hour, and before I knew it, I had made huge progress. The point wasn't about pushing myself harder, it was about lowering the barrier to entry so I couldn't talk myself out of it. This isn't just about productivity though. It's about reclaiming your energy, your peace, and your motivation. When you stop putting so much pressure on yourself to be perfect and instead focus on taking small, manageable actions, you're doing yourself a huge favor. You're not just getting things done, you're learning to work smarter, not harder. And that's the real power of hacking the just do it mentality. You don't need to burn yourself out to achieve your goals. In fact, by simplifying the process, you make it easier to keep moving forward. And that's where real momentum builds. So the next time you're faced with a daunting task or goal, don't tell yourself to just do it. Instead, break it down. Find the smallest, simplest step that makes the task feel less intimidating. And trust me, once you start, the rest will follow. This isn't just about working harder. It's about making things easier, more achievable, and way more fun. You've got this. And the best part is, it's no longer about forcing yourself to do it. It's about letting yourself enjoy the process of getting it done. Number 6. Leverage boredom as a compass. What if I told you that boredom could be the best thing to ever happen to you? Yes, you heard me right. Boredom, that feeling you often try to escape, could actually be your greatest ally in finding direction and purpose. Now, I know what you're thinking. Boredom? That's just the worst feeling ever. Trust me, I get it. We've all been there, mindlessly scrolling through our phones, wishing the hours would pass quicker, or trying to avoid that nagging sense that nothing exciting is happening in our lives. But here's the kicker. What if that nothing is actually telling you something important? You know the type, the person who always has to be busy, always has to have something going on. We've all experienced that moment when we're running on empty, doing one thing after another, just to avoid the dullness that comes with being still. But here's the thing. Boredom isn't your enemy. It's a signal. It's the universe's way of telling you that you've been distracted for too long and that it's time to focus on something deeper. It's like when your phone gets low on battery. It's your cue to recharge. So instead of trying to drown out the boredom with distractions, lean into it. Use it as a compass. Here's the strategy. The next time you feel bored, instead of reaching for your phone or throwing yourself into another meaningless task, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what do I really want right now? What's the thing that keeps popping into my mind when I have nothing else to focus on? That boredom, that feeling of, ugh, I don't know what to do with myself, is actually a doorway to your deeper desires. It's your inner self asking for a moment of clarity, urging you to connect with your true passions or unspoken needs. Let me share a real-life example. A while ago, I was stuck in a rut. I had too much going on, but nothing felt fulfilling. One evening, I found myself feeling completely bored, nothing exciting was happening, and my usual go-to distractions just didn't work. Instead of brushing it off, I decided to sit with it. I took a few minutes to journal, letting my thoughts flow freely. And in that stillness, something unexpected happened. I realized that I had been ignoring a deep desire to connect with people on a more personal level. It wasn't about busy work or checking off a list. It was about having meaningful conversations and building real relationships. That boring moment led me to make some important changes in how I approached my time and connections with others. Boredom became the spark that ignited a shift. Now you might be thinking, but I hate feeling bored. It's uncomfortable. And I get that. It's not easy to sit with discomfort. But here's the thing. Boredom is about reclaiming your space, your peace, and your true desires. It's a chance to stop running from your thoughts and start facing them. It's okay to let your mind wander a bit. In fact, some of the best ideas come from those moments when we let go of the pressure to be constantly entertained or productive. So, next time boredom strikes, don't resist it. Use it as a compass. It's telling you something important. It's guiding you toward a place where you can finally tap into what really matters. Lean into it. Let it direct you to the things that bring you joy, purpose, and fulfillment. Because in the end, the things that matter most in life don't come from endless distractions. They come from the moments when we stop, listen, and allow boredom to lead the way. Thank you so much for sticking with me through this video. I really hope you found some new insights that can help you approach the idea of finding your passion from a more grounded, actionable perspective. If this resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me know what content you find valuable, and I'd love to keep bringing more of it to you. If you want more videos on practical, real-life strategies for building a life that actually feels fulfilling, make sure to subscribe so you never miss out on any new content. And hey, if you know someone who's been struggling with finding their passion, share this video with them. They might just need to hear this message today. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, whether you've tried pragmatic approaches to pursuing your passions, or if this is all brand new to you, share your experiences or reflections. Let's keep the conversation going and build a community around finding meaning through action.